This is by far the easiest, healthiest, and most delicious crepe recipe that you're going to find around. I was looking for a recipe that was good for my whole family. I didn't want to make the traditional crepe made out of wheat flour, primarily because of allergies that we have and different food restrictions. I was trying to think of what sort of other foods would work good as a crepe substitute, still have a similar kind of texture, be just as thin, and would be able to hold up. I can't remember how I thought of this idea, but I remember thinking about how you can make fruit leather using your dehydrator. And I was thinking about the texture of banana and how when you dehydrate it, it still has that soft consistency and it's able to bend. So I thought, why not give it a try and see if it would work out well as a wrap? The recipe is so easy, it's literally one ingredient, and you can probably guess what it is. Bananas! I find depending on the ripeness of the banana, you may want to add in a little extra water. So I play around with the consistency in my blender. Now the two appliances that you will need for this recipe is a decent blender. Bananas are soft enough that any blender should work, and a dehydrator. This recipe can also be completed using an oven, but you would have to have the temperature on the lowest heat setting, and you will want to leave the door slightly open. If you take the oven route, you want to be careful, especially if you have little ones. But today we're going to use the dehydrator. Now the blender that I use for absolutely everything is a Vitamix. If you guys have used a Vitamix before, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have a Vitamix, just buy one. Just buy one. We use this baby about 5 times a day. It has definitely been worth the purchase. Okay, let's get started. Depending on the size of your dehydrator, I have an Excalibur with 4 trays. You can always up the amount of bananas that you use to fill all your trays. To fill my 4 trays, I use about 4 or 5 medium-sized bananas. So to get started, peel your bananas. If I can peel a banana. If I can peel it. So I heard this trick somewhere on YouTube. But if you peel a banana from the other end, it's easier. Oh, look! Oh! Thanks, YouTube. Ah. Okay. So there's 1 banana, 2 bananas. Baby's awake. 3 bananas. 4 bananas. Now I can already tell by the texture I'm going to need a little bit of water, so I'm going to add some in. Maybe about like, I don't know, an inch or so at the bottom of the blender. And you want to keep going and turn it up high as you can, because you want the consistency to be very smooth. Doesn't have to be for long, just until you can see that the consistency is nice, creamy, and smooth. You want the consistency to be able to spread out on top of your dehydrator sheet. You don't want it to be so wet that it's too liquid and it just runs. You want it to have some sort of shape. So the consistency that I have here is perfect. I'm going to show you how to add it to the sheet. So because I have 4 trays, I'm just going to pour about 1/4 of it out on top of my tray. And I want it to come out just right in the center of it, because instead of spreading it around like you normally would do with something else you place on your dehydrator sheet, I'm going to tilt the tray slightly until it covers the entire tray. Now the sheets that I use are non-stick Teflon sheets. I actually purchased these from Walmart for a really good price. I can't remember how much. And they're from Susie Chef. They have lasted me years, and as you can tell, they're pretty beat up. You can reuse them over and over again and just wash them off when you're done with them. So I pour it in the middle till it's about the size of a large pancake. You can see that texture. And then I'm just going to tilt it over around into the corners, just like this. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, it really doesn't matter. But you want it large enough that it's going to make a really nice wrap or nice crepe. Just like that. I'm going to do that with all 4 of my sheets, place it in the dehydrator, and I'm going to leave it overnight on a low to medium heat. So it's going to be about 115, 120 degrees. We're going to come back in the morning. I'm going to show you how these guys turned out. If you have never dehydrated a banana before, the taste has a very subtle sweetness to it. But the taste is so nice and mild that you can fill these crepes with absolutely anything. I've created the traditional crepe with it, so filling it with fruit or ice cream and adding maple syrup on top, and it's amazing. The flavor's so good. My children like it. My children don't like anything. And then I actually decided to try and make a savory crepe with it, or wrap. Inside the wrap I had added tomato and lettuce and hummus, and you can add whatever you want inside the wrap, but it works perfectly. The texture is great, the flavor is amazing, and at first I thought, okay, banana, the flavor is totally going to clash, and it was so good. So these are so versatile, you can do so much with them. They store really well and for quite a bit of time, and your whole family is going to love them. And who has an allergy to bananas, right? Anybody can eat these, it's awesome. Okay, time to stick these guys in my dehydrator, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, let's see how these turned out. Noah, don't grab the camera. No. Alright. There's our crepe.